Welcome to this episode of the GymInformer podcast. I'm Chris Gilbert, your host for this episode. And today our guest is Justin Bowenschen, the owner of Savage Iron Gym in Linton, Indiana. Linton is a small town, about 5,000 people. Justin's got a small bodybuilding gym there, but it is not small on attitude. So I'm pretty excited. I got to work out a few weeks ago. I'm pretty excited to talk to Justin about the gym. But before we get into talking about the gym, let me show you the photos I took when I was at the gym. All right, Justin. Before we get into talking about the gym, what was your path telling everyone you become a gym owner?
Well, I guess my path kind of went through the bodybuilding aspect of things at a young age, probably 15 years old. I watched a lot of WWE wrestling. I guess that's kind of where a lot of bodybuilders go, like where they start out at. You see the Hulk Hogan's, the John Cena's, and you're like, okay, I want to be like that guy. So I had that WWE pipe dream in my head originally, and it got down to it to where my uncle, after I got my first weight set, my uncle brought me probably a 4 foot stack of Muscle and Fitness magazines, and it had Ronnie Coleman and Jay Cutler and Branch Warren and all those guys in it. And I was like, okay, the wrestlers are big, but these guys are bigger, so that's the route I wanted to go. And I kept lifting weights, and then around 17, 18 years old, I joined the Marine Corps, which just accelerated, my love for fitness in general. Because, to be a Marine, you got to be physically fit. So after I got out of the Marine Corps, I did some private contracting. And then I did some, security work. I did, prison guard. I worked for the sheriff's department. And it was ultimately the decision when I was 29 years old, like, I'm going to pull the trigger on this and I'm going to open my own gym.
And how long ago was that? How long have you had the gym now?
It'll be 4 years this August.
Okay, awesome. And this is your second location?
Yes, this is the second location.
So, if you couldn't tell in the photos, like the gym it's right off of the downtown Linton area. It's one of your old school classic, like Midwestern small town downtowns, but you got to go into the basement to get to the gym, which kind of really lends to the atmosphere. I felt like, I want to get into the equipment, but before we do, I really want to talk about the atmosphere in the gym. Because I thought like for a small gym, because how big is the gym?
It's 2,400 square feet, right under 2,500.
Yeah, so a 2,500 square foot bodybuilding gym. It's not huge, but you've definitely like packed a lot of attitude in the gym. Like, I don't think there was a square inch of the walls that weren't covered in something. Like, just like really like said, hey, like get busy.
Exactly. That's what we try to do. And while I'll say we cater more to the bodybuilding community, I don't want us just to be labeled as a bodybuilding gym, because we cover every age range from 14 to 82 years old. We help everybody. So I like to tell people it's not a bodybuilding gym; it's a gym owned by a bodybuilder. So if you need the help, like, anybody in that gym's always willing to help you. You no reason to feel judged or like somebody's staring at you because you're doing something wrong. We've created a family environment, which I really, really like. It's a family environment, but when you go down there, you understand that some of those people are down there to work, and some people are down there just to socialize, and that's fine too.
Yeah, you don't actually see that very often in a bodybuilding gym, is people like just kind of like being more social.
Yeah. So I wanted a good blend of it, because not everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, and I understand that. One, it's not an easy path. Two, it takes a lot of time. And, a lot of people have other things they want to do in life that are not so self-centered around the gym, and I completely understand that. So like I said, we from 14 to 82 years old, we have people who have been doing this for decades, and we have people who have never picked up weight and they come in and they just want to learn, and that's the environment we wanted to create.
Oh yeah, no, and that's one of the benefits of being a small town gym is that like you are the only game. So if somebody wants to work out, like there's not many other options. So it's the blessing and a curse. Like they have to come to you, but at the same time, in order for you to meet the needs of your community, you have to create a space that is welcoming to that whole array of people.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, like I said, we've tried to make that family type environment where you come down, you can talk to somebody. If you have any concerns, you're feeling a certain type of way, we can address that to where you feel comfortable and you feel like you want to work out when you walk into the gym.
Yeah, that's awesome. The other thing, it was obvious to me from being in the gym that we haven't had this conversation, but you're a pretty strong Christian.
Yes, I'm very strong in my faith. And what I tell people, because I know the word Christian sometimes gets thrown around, I tell people I'm not a Christian, I'm a follower of Christ. So, yes.
And I was impressed that you took that and put it on the walls in the gym, and there were multiple lines from the Bible talking about strength and power. And a lot of people overlook how much the Bible talks about strength. And I was impressed you put it on the walls in the gym.
Well, it's one of those silent motivators, right? Like somebody might not want somebody, hyping them up in the gym all the time. But if you look over and you read one of those verses, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It's on one of the doorways. Isaiah 41, where it talks about he'll raise us up on the wings of eagles. Like silent motivators that you look at that and you're like, okay, I got to keep pushing.
No, I like that. And I love the fact that you had the strength to not care what anybody else thought. And those are things that mean something to you and you care about, and you put them on the walls, and it doesn't matter if somebody else is going to have a negative aspect to it or not. Like that took some strength, and I appreciate that. And I think that's awesome.
I mean, absolutely. And that's what I said, the word Christian, it gets thrown around a lot. So when people come in, that's why I say I'm a follower of Christ. I try to love them how Christ loved them. So it doesn't matter what you did before you came in my gym. It doesn't matter who you are, what you want to do. Like we will extend that olive branch. We will help you as much as we can. And maybe, if those are questions you have, you have faith-based questions, we can answer that too. And maybe kind of, turn the corner on why some people are so standoffish when it comes to the word of Christ. So we've helped in that aspect as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm a Catholic, so people are very standoffish to me because Catholics are like a dirty word sometimes in the Christian environment. But I love the fact that that you put all that into your gym and you added that to the gym. I think that's super exciting, and it's really awesome for your community as well. If you don't mind, I want to switch gears and let's talk about the equipment. Like, you had a very interesting variety of equipment in that, like, it was obviously not something that you opened up a catalog and said, "This is what I want."
No.
It was definitely like, I got this piece here and this piece here. Like, how did you go about deciding, like, these are the pieces that are going in my gym? So,
like I said, probably early 2000s, that's when I was coming up in weightlifting, probably 2006, 2007. That's the Branch Warren, Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman. That's that big era of all these mass monsters. And the equipment they had was a lot of the time just ragtag equipment. If you look at the Metroflex, the Arlington location, it's just, a bunch of equipment. I've actually been down there and trained with Brian Dobson. Branch Warren's actually my mentor when it comes to bodybuilding. And I wanted my gym to be that way too. I didn't want, I can go to this gym and they have the same equipment as this gym. I wanted people to walk in my gym and go, "What's that?" Well, let me show you how to use it real quick. And then you use it and you realize that the physiques that can be built with the older equipment I feel like, in my personal opinion, I like the older physiques. So I wanted to tailor the equipment to what can be used to build a physique like the older guys.
Mm-hmm. No, I love old school gyms, and I love the old school equipment, and honestly, with the atmosphere that you have in the gym, having a bunch of like brand new matching pieces wouldn't work.
Okay, so actually, that's funny you say that. Do you know who Ed Connors is?
I don't.
So Ed Connors, he wrote a book, but he was the guy who basically designed Gold's Gym. He was he was an architect, and
Okay.
he's one of the three original owners of Gold's Gym Venice. If you look him up, he's the one who brought Lee Priest from Australia to America and helped a lot of these guys. So I linked up with Ed Connors in 2022 or 2020 when I was competing, and when I went to open this gym, I asked him about it. He said, "No, don't go buy everything the same color." He said, what we did at Gold's is we would buy stuff and it was just different colors. Buy what you want and don't worry about the colors because it adds character to the gym in itself.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, there are new school gyms that are all like pretty and everything matches and blacked out walls and blacked out equipment. And then there's old school gyms with concrete floor and none of the equipment matches. And it was obviously all piecemealed together. And I think that's a lot of character. And I think it's super cool.
Well, it's like you look back at what the guys in the 90s and 2000s used, and you're like, if you want to create that physique, use the same equipment and train the same way. Like nutrition doesn't really change. So it's been the training and the training intensity and some of the equipment. Like I have a Nautilus chest press that's from the early 2000s, and I paid $100 for it. And I drove 3 hours to get it. It's one of those things people are like, oh, I've never seen one of these. I was like, yeah, but once you get in it and you realize that the stretch in your chest is deeper and you get a better contraction, you understand why it's in the gym.
Yeah, I actually used that one when I was at your gym. So it's a good piece. Now the newer pieces that you've added are kind of a little over the place too. Like what's made you decide to go with some of the newer pieces in that brand?
Which pieces
Because I know you had a couple. If I remember correctly, you had a couple Titan pieces, and
Yep.
Did I see a piece from Bolt or?
Yeah, we have a pendulum squat from Bolt Fitness.
Yeah. So what made you decide that like those were the right fit with your old school pieces?
So I'd say probably 2019. I was in this really old school gym up by Muncie, Indiana, and they had this pendulum squat. I had never used one, but it's always been. But my dorsiflexion and my Achilles tendon isn't great, so I got in this machine and I was able to get the quad contraction and stretch that I needed. So
Right.
when I put my gym together, I'm like, that's a machine that I want. That machine will humble a man. So I put that machine in there specifically. And a lot of people, for a long time, we didn't have a leg press. They're like, well, why don't you buy a leg press? I said, well, because this machine can outwork a leg press. You just got to get in it. So some of the Titan stuff, like I've always liked the plate loaded seated rows. I like a seal row where you are braced against the pad to where you can't move. And you can really contract the upper back on those type of rows. So some of the Titan stuff was more tailored to having a big back or having big legs or, certain aspects of bodybuilding, but they work through any level of, progression if you're training at all.
Right. Yeah. That Bolt pendulum squat's a pretty heavy pendulum squat.
Yeah, we had to move it down the stairs. It was not fun.
Well, I just meant like the strength curve on it. Like you got to be pretty strong just to even use it without any weight on it. Like I've used that exact one, not yours, but I've used that exact one at another gym, and it was a pretty heavy one compared to like some other ones I've used.
Yeah, I tell a lot of people, I said, start out with no weight. They go, well, I'm going to put this, I start out with no weight because once you get under it, you're going to realize that machine is not built like other machines. So.
No, it is definitely not. That is a heavy machine. So we talked a lot about the things that I felt like you were doing well in your gym. Are there things that you feel like that you wish at this point after 4 years you were doing better or that you're still trying to work on with the gym?
Just breaking that stigma of being like a bodybuilder's only gym. That's
Mhm.
that's the reason a lot of people stray away from it, because it can, you walk down there, it can be intimidating. It's, oh well, the bodybuilders go there. It's in a basement. It has no windows. There are certain stigmas that go along with it. Are like, oh, those guys over there, they compete, so they obviously put substances in their body. And I'm trying to break that stigma to where it doesn't matter what age you are, what level of progression you are when it comes to exercising. We can fit every need, and we've got the experience to back it up. So
Yeah.
that's where we're trying to go with that.
Nice. Yeah. No, that makes a ton of sense. Um, so my next question was like, what's the future of Savage Iron? Like, I know we talked that you moved a year ago. Are you happy with the current location? Is it big enough? Do you ever want a bigger gym? Do you like the smaller gym? Will there ever be like a second Savage Iron, maybe in another small town? Or like, what's the future hold?
So as of right now, I don't plan on creating another one. I don't plan on franchising or anything of that nature. I think you can always have a bigger gym. I don't think I would want one that's extremely large.
Mhm.
Maybe 5,000 to 6,000 square feet at the most, because it is a small town. So I mean, what we've got right now, it works. And prior to this, we were in a 1,400 square foot building, and I had all that equipment in a 1,400 square foot building.
Wow.
So, and yeah, it was like playing, equipment Tetris to get everything in there. But eventually, my landlord right now, he's really awesome. So I don't see us leaving unless finances dictate that we can build our own facility. So right now I'm pretty locked in where I'm at. And like, me and some of my family members did all the paintings and stuff on the wall. So it does hold some sentimental value. And here shortly, so my grandfather was actually like one of the leading causes to push me to do this on my own. And he passed away in February. So here shortly, we're going to dedicate the gym to him. So,
Oh, awesome. Oh, that's super cool. Um, so then one of the things we always ask gym owners before when we get to the end of our questions is, you've had a gym now for 4 years. You've had multiple locations. You've gone through a lot in the last 4 years, I'm sure. Is there any piece of advice or anything that you would recommend to someone who's thinking about opening a gym or wants to own a gym?
if you're going to buy equipment, buy it with a warranty, because even though gym equipment is expensive, normal wear and tear breaks it down pretty fast, especially when you're not the owner and you come in and use the equipment. It tends to get broken down faster. I mean, I think our leg extension machine I've probably fixed 6 or 7 times in the first 2 years we had it. So if you're going to buy certain pieces that you want to last a very long time, buy those brand new and buy them with a warranty. That way, if something breaks or anything happens to it, you can get a new one essentially. Um, learn how to maintenance the equipment, especially cable machines. Learn how to thread cables. Maintenance on the equipment, unless you're going to pay somebody to do it, it's usually going to be cheaper on your own. Member acquisition can be hard at the beginning. It can be hard 4 years into it. It's everything when it comes to owning a gym is a learning curve. I knew an older gentleman who used to own a gym in our town, and he had all these rules, and people would get upset with the rules. And I told him, I said, now after owning my own gym, I understand the rules. It makes a lot more sense. Like, can't wear jeans on equipment, like bring in different shoes, because it is hard to maintain a gym equipment wise, cleanliness wise, especially when you're a one man army essentially.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Well, I didn't have any other questions. Is there anything else that you wanted to tell everyone about Savage Iron before we go?
Yeah, so we actually just partnered with Kingdom Jiu Jitsu. It's actually in our old location building. So if they get a membership over there, they get a discounted rate at our gym. So we can kind of partner, you know, with a different sport and not just be like bodybuilding oriented, which is what people think we are. But now we've got guys who compete in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu tournaments and that level of competition. So it's a blend, and it was a really good partnership for me and Tyler Gordon, who I actually was friends with his uncle. So it worked out pretty well. Um, as far as the gym, like I said, we're not a bodybuilding gym. We're a gym owned by a bodybuilder. So I encourage everybody to just come in, check it out. If you feel intimidated, talk to somebody. Everybody in there is willing to help you. They're willing to have conversation with you. Just, be courteous. If a guy's in the middle of a set, don't tap him on the shoulder, ask him a question, wait till he's done. Other than that, I mean, we're trying to grow it to a larger scale. That's my main focus right now.
Yeah, no, 100%. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much. And this was great.
Absolutely. I appreciate it as well.